I'm ready. Good afternoon. I'm Mayor Scott Madison. It is my pleasure to deliver our 2020 State of the City Address on this Veterans Day, November 11th, 2020. I would like to give a heartfelt thank you to all of our airmen, soldiers, sailors, and Marines that have served or are serving this great country of ours. The continued sacrifices made by you and your families do not go unnoticed, and we all thank you. I'm live here in the council chambers and will be fielding any questions when the speech is completed. If you are on Facebook, you can put your questions in the comments section. If you're on Microsoft Teams, raise your hand and we will get to each question. I would like to give a special thank you to all city employees, all of those who volunteer for our boards and commissions, and also a special thank you to the City Council for their service to our great city. Here's the agenda topics today that we'll be going over in detail. These 4 pillars, along with the vision, values, and mission statements, are set by the City Council based on our city's 2020-2022 strategic plan that was adopted January 28, 2020 by the City Council. Establishing a strategic plan for the city was vitally important to pursue goals that include stabilizing city finances, creating long-term fiscal sustainability, producing high-quality services through a commitment to government best practices, and employee development, and instituting forward-thinking practices that build a safe community and a strong local economy. The newly adopted plan strives to position Clinton for success. What we do in the next 4 years will have a positive and reverberating impact for the next 40 years in a number of key areas, such as land use, economic development, health and safety and environmental sustainability, and raising the valuation of our great city. We will touch on our financial position, communication channels to citizens, updates from some city departments, and updates on the COVID-19 pandemic and the Duratio 2020 storm cleanup. And lastly, quality of life pieces throughout the city to include some information on economic development. City officials follow strong vision and mission statements that elicit a set of core values that all center around making Clinton the best place to live, work, and play, not only in the state of Iowa, but in the entire USA. On March 23rd, the city declared a local emergency and COVID-19 became the city's top priority. The COVID-19 pandemic has claimed over 200,000 lives in our country and has changed all of our daily lives with no end in sight. In Clinton County, we have lost over 30 people who are our neighbors, our friends, and our family. In March, nobody imagined that we would be standing here 8 months later, still seeing cases continue to climb. The city continues to be diligent in our approach to combat the virus by installing new glass partitions at the engineering and B&S departments to ensure continued service to our citizens, but keeping our city staff safe at the same time. We have instituted online meetings that citizens can participate in, along with new partitions in the council chambers between the staff and the council. Our supply of PPE is strong in all departments and continue to have all of our staff out in the field, along with police and fire, wearing masks during their shifts and all interactions with the public. We know that businesses, nonprofits, and residents are facing significant challenges, and with this newest proclamation from Governor Reynolds being released yesterday, we are seeing more restrictions take effect today. I would encourage each and every citizen to do their part. Numbers are surging quickly, and it is important that we all remain diligent in combating this virus. Please wear a mask when you're out, no matter where you're at. Wash your hands frequently. Practice social distancing and remain strong as we will all get through this together. More updates from my office will be forthcoming in regards to the city's COVID response. We all placed a new word into our vocabulary on August 10th, that being Duratio. Quickly after the storm hit, the Clinton County Emergency Operations Center was activated to create a plan of attack to not only clean up the damage, but provide for the citizens that were in need. Local elected officials, Clinton PD, Clinton County Sheriff's Department, Public Works, Clinton County Emergency Management, and the Clinton County Public Health Department and our energy partners met on a daily basis to ensure a timely response to this disaster. On the afternoon of August 10th, our Public Works Department started an almost month-long focus on the Duratio storm cleanup. The Public Works recorded over 20 million pounds of debris taken to the landfill, which is 10,000 tons. This does not include all of the debris that was dropped in Liberty Square. Our Public Works team accomplished this while continuing to pick up solid waste, recycling, and yard waste containers on their regular schedule. The city's response was a mobile resource center in partnership with the CPD, Mercy One, Clinton County Emergency Management, Clinton County Health Department, and Information Referral and Assistance Services. Under the direction of Fire Chief Joel Atkinson and his team of Assistant Chiefs Chapman and Ferrari, that was activated shortly after the derecho to allow citizens to grab ice, water, food, charge their phones, computers, medical devices, and have someone check on them in this neatly created drive-through center at Clinton Park. Hundreds of pounds of ice were given and food donated from state resources and local citizens were distributed to those in need. Clinton was the first city to respond in this manner, and I am proud of our volunteers and city employees for deploying this resource center to help those in need. I want to thank all of our citizens that stepped up to help each other and all of those local businesses, nonprofits, and anyone else that helped the city and their neighbors put themselves back together after this storm. Goals set by the City Council include maintain a strong financial position, increase communication to all key stakeholders to include citizens, employees, staff, other municipalities, and our school district. Continually improve our overall organization, and lastly, increase the quality of life for our citizens and those visiting Clinton. One of our main goals as a council and a staff is to maintain a strong financial position. That has not been easy with COVID-19 and the derecho, but I am happy to announce that our city currently maintains a strong financial position in the general fund and all proprietary funds. We were able to lower our city's property tax levy with the help of the franchise fee that generated $2.8 million, of which $1.2 million will go to the general fund to cover public safety, library, finance, engineering, city hall, and parks and recreation, and the remaining $1.6 million to pay down debt, resulting in the city lowering our debt service levy from $3.50 to $1.77. This resulted in an overall decrease of our city property tax levy from $16.32 to $15.63, which is below the 10-year average of $16. Furthermore, the city maintained its AA bond rating, was able to borrow at an extremely low interest rate, and continue enhancing the infrastructure, quality of life, and improving our city. The council will continue to be diligent in keeping that levy as low as possible to ensure a comfortable cost of living for our citizens. The COVID-19 pandemic has posed several challenges, and like most, the budget has been impacted. We saw decreased revenues through several channels and resulted in a deficit of almost $750,000. Due to the diligence of our staff, that deficit has been covered using some proprietary funds, and our city continues to maintain a strong financial position. Our staff has been working tirelessly to forecast where we may end up if loss of revenues continue due to the pandemic. As we enter budget season in January, we will have several models to use and will be budgeting extremely conservatively to ensure we maintain our strong financial position. To touch on some of the great financial wins we have had over the past year, I give you this list of grants that the city has been awarded to use in many different capacities. Being awarded these grants lowers the overall cost to our taxpayers as the grant funds cover a portion or all of a specific project. We as a city have received over $4.8 million in grant funding to assist in many projects and operations throughout the city. Communication to our citizens is a top goal as a mayor, city council, and staff. We are continuing to learn and grow and get better in that front. In light of that, transparency among our city government to our citizens, I feel, has never been better. And as we go through all of the ways you can be informed, I hope you will all feel the same. I would encourage citizens with any issues to reach out to their council members to get quick action on any questions or concerns that they may have. All of their contact information is located on the City of Clinton website. If you're a social media user, you can follow Choose Clinton, Iowa on Facebook and Instagram. The City of Clinton YouTube channel, where we stream live council meetings and special presentations like this one. Mediacom, we stream live council meetings. Another great place is the Lighthouse Newspaper, delivered quarterly to each resident's home. You can also go to our City of Clinton website any time, day or night, to find relevant information about trending topics. And along with our website, you can log on to our iCompass software that keeps you up to date and in real time with city meetings, to include agendas and minutes, and then also a running calendar of all the meetings that are scheduled. I would like to thank the city's partner, Forge, who continues to impress us for their posting and keeping up the citizens updated with press releases and other news from the city on our social media platforms. Another item is text message alerts. You can text Clinton 5 to 36000 and get alerts from the city about garbage and recycling pickup, snow emergencies, calendar parking, Parks and Rec, and many other alerts. 2 additional ways to gain information is the second Thursday of each month at 9 a.m. on KROS and the first business day of every month at 7:30 a.m. on MAC 94.7. I conduct radio interviews with Dave Vickers and Chris Streets, where we talk about hot topics throughout the city and give important updates on project statuses and other information pertaining to the city. Our relationships continue to remain strong and growing with the school, the county, the Chamber of Commerce, the Clinton Regional Development Corporation, Des Moines, and many other partners. Any great city knows the more we team and work together, the stronger we shall be. I would like to just thank all of the partners personally for a great first year and many more years to come. Many of you who follow the city closely know that we have a small but hard-working team of city staff who are often wearing multiple hats in order to keep our city's services to enhance our quality of life. All of our City Hall workers worked diligently to ensure that all services at City Hall remained intact, and citizens have received top-notch service while operating during this pandemic. They have accomplished many of the City Council's priorities despite managing multiple emergencies in the city over the last year. Despite all of these major events, one after another, easily consuming a majority of resources in the city at any given time, the city staff still managed to get well underway in accomplishing 14 of 14 objectives and meeting or exceeding in all 75 categories for indicators of success outlined by the City Council in the 2020-2022 strategic plan that is nested in our 2032 comprehensive plan. Our Clinton Police Department remains dedicated to serving the community and reducing crime and the fear of crime for all. Our police officers use a service from the heart approach, and in these tough times they recognize the importance of serving the public with care, compassion, and empathy. Our police department's focus remains policing with our community to create a safe and vibrant city. The data provided here is from 2019. Calls for service on the police department over the past year were up 17%, with a total of 42,183. However, incident reports were down 5% to 4,157. Arrests were up 9%, but overall crime was down 19% compared to the previous 10-year average. On May 25, 2020, George Floyd died at the hands of Minneapolis police, and local cities like ours were immediately thrust into a conversation about police accountability. In May of 2019, the CPD introduced Lexapol, which is a fully developed state-specific policy manual for our officers to follow. This manual addresses many of the issues that were brought up this past summer, which made our department ahead of the game in many regards as we saw civil unrest in many cities across the U.S. Continuing to provide enhanced training in de-escalation, crisis intervention, mental health, implicit bias, employee wellness, and community policing will remain a priority for the CPD and the City of Clinton. We were happy to welcome the new Fire Chief, Chief Joel Atkinson, who began his tenure in January 2020. Chief Atkinson is leading the implementation of key initiatives that are considered the department's roadmap for the future, with a heavy focus in the areas of policy development and decision-making, environmental sustainability, and accountability towards the department's mission and core values. These numbers are as of October 15th, 2020. Total calls for service were 3,913, 112 were fire-related, 2,980 were rescue calls, and the rest for other purposes. Just a quick highlight and a photo from our first ever CPD and CFD joint promotion ceremony conducted at the bandshell along Riverfront. It was awesome to be a part of this ceremony and truly highlights that it is all about teamwork. And what a great way to honor the men and women who make so many sacrifices to keep our community safe. A big welcome to our new Public Works Director, Brian Lemke. Brian came on board in March of 2020, right as the pandemic hit, and has done an excellent job with this newly developed position. Public Works recently took on some new roles, and the department now covers streets and solid waste, sewer maintenance, and facility maintenance. Brian has been a great addition to the team and was a huge part of the storm cleanup as mentioned earlier in this brief. With single stream recycling in place for over 2 years now, we continue to see more use of recycling, increasing tonnage by 452 tons per year, while seeing a decline in solid waste collection by 324 tons. Next, I would like to talk about engineering department, and particularly roads. If you drive around Clinton right now, you will see barricades and detours and cones and a lot of construction. I know it can be frustrating, but this is progress. The City Council over the past several years have been dedicated to an aggressive pavement management program in order to address all 151 miles of roads that we have here in Clinton. Think about that. 151 miles of road for a city with a population of 25,000. That number is far above what other cities our size has, so you can only guess that the maintenance of this road network can be extremely taxing. If you see on the scale, the City of Clinton's Pavement Condition Index, based on the Dayton's Total Infrastructure Management System. In 2007, we were a 40.84. And now in 2019, 2020, I'm happy to announce we are at a 65. Anything above a 55 is an A rating. Now we still have a lot of work to do, but we have a strong plan through 2023 to make sure every road in Clinton has been repaired. In addition to the roads, we have a comprehensive long-term plan for sewer compliance that addresses our lift stations, pump stations, and separating wastewater and stormwater in our sewer network. The last area of our strategic plan that the City Council has been diligently focused on is improving quality of life. 2019-2020 has been a busy year for projects in that department, and here are some of the highlights. Our Jurgensen Soccer Complex is completed. Pickleball courts and sand volleyball courts down on Riverfront. Many of our playgrounds have been updated. Next slide, please. Many of our playgrounds have been updated and more to come. The Erickson Center has seen several upgrades to include a new fitness center. Next slide, please. Next slide. The Freedom Rock on Riverfront, Quiet zones, where we recently received $1.356 million for this project. Currently, there's 88 whistles that are blown downtown along our downtown area. After this, 16 whistles will remain, and the only reason those will remain is the road is too narrow to enhance the safety that is needed. Our stamped concrete along Riverfront, part of our Iowa Great Places grant, and the Leonard Cornell statue that's been redone at the beginning of Veterans Memorial Drive. I'd like to highlight the Neighborhood Improvement Committee, the Property Maintenance Awards. Congrats to all the citizens who have taken an enormous sense of pride in maintaining their properties. I know there are a lot more that are worthy of this award, and as nominated, the Neighborhood Improvement Committee will continue to honor those citizens. The demolition of a nuisance and abandoned houses remains a top priority for the city and the council. The council has continued to allocate funds to remove these properties and attempt to clean up our neighborhoods. 2015 and 2019 saw 49 structures demoed, and there are 25 slated for fiscal year 21 that ends in June 30, 2021. The city is also trying to enroll as many houses as possible in the gut rehab program. Instead of tearing down structures if they have solid bones, we are rehabbing to sell to owner-occupiers to eliminate having empty lots and get these homes in good repair and back in the hands of our citizens. This is a state and federal program administered through IEDA. Clinton completed the first ever gut rehab home in July of 2020, and we look to have 2 to 3 more finished by the end of the year. Adequate housing is another focus area of the city. We have thousands of folks that drive to Clinton each and every day for work and then go home. By providing more options at a variety of price points is one way we are attempting to attract those folks to make Clinton their home. To highlight our housing, we have Diamond Builders who will be breaking ground in November 2020 on 240 luxury market rate apartments on Valley Bluff. The city signed a contract with Housing 360, a Des Moines-based company, to work on building homes on our infill lots throughout the city. There are currently 2 housing developments where new houses are being built, Jordan Heights and Mill Creek Crossing, with 3 additional developments starting to build new homes soon, Zara Heights, Eagle Rise, and Riverstone Crossing. The last item we'll briefly touch on is economic development that is going on in our region. We continue to work very closely with the CRDC to attract new business along with business retention activities for those businesses that are already here. We currently have leads on nearly 10 different businesses with a total capital investment number of $1.3 billion and nearly 685 jobs between all businesses if we are successful in the recruitment of all of these leads. These leads are all in various stages, but there are a few option agreements and a few site visits scheduled for November of 2020. It truly is a busy and exciting time in economic development in Clinton. In reviewing this past year, 2020, you can see that we've had one heck of a year as a city, and we've gotten through it. We know the next 12 months and beyond will also be required to have teamwork and effective communication with each and every one of you. I started tonight's presentation mentioning the ways you can stay informed. Please do take advantage of those methods. Now, as mentioned at the beginning, I will field any questions from any folks in the room or online. Okay. Do you have any questions on there, Josh?
No.
Nope. I don't see any either.
We had one come in, Mr. Mayor. What's the biggest challenge you see coming in 2021?
The biggest challenge that we see in 2021, obviously, is the budget process. As mentioned, we've lost some revenue streams, so we need to find a way to ensure that we can provide the same great services at the same level as we do currently. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so I'll wrap this up. The council and the staff, along with many citizens, like to remind me that I picked an interesting year to become mayor. Despite all of the obstacles this year, it has been extremely rewarding, and I look forward to the next 3 years as we make Clinton the best place to live, work, and play. I would like to take this moment once again to thank all of our staff throughout the city council members, all of the partners that we work with daily, and of course, all of the citizens of Clinton. We have a strong and proud community, and I promise to continue to work tirelessly to ensure that Clinton is truly a great place to call home. I thank you all for listening this afternoon, and be sure to contact us with any questions that you might have. Thank you.